morning. I have a challenge to be before the lunch, but I hope you are going to be, you have a great insights around UAVs, drones. I will start with this phrase that I really like it, and I find it in a presentation, basically on the FAA. It seems like kind of ironic, but the reality is there, and I really believe it is. Today, my talk is going to be about not the future, because I think that is already very close to us. It's going to be about innovation and the innovations around UAVs. So, drones in the beach. So I said, I was talking with Paul about a session, and I said, why not drones in the beach and try to embrace this old phenomenon with drones. Before I start, I would like to know, who has a drone here? 1, 2, 3, great. What are you using it for? Sorry? Scare the cat, nice. Other ones? Learning how to play it. Good, yeah, that's true. Well, a lot of people nowadays, like I live in front of the park, and like these 3 months, I realized that we have like one drone every day. Someone is flying the drone, so it's there. So, drones in the beach. My name is Guada Casuso. I am originally from Argentina. I live in South Miami, and I've been driving here. It's a pleasure to be in this area of Florida. I've been working with drones from 1 year now. For living, I work as an architect, cloud architect for Microsoft. I've been 6 years in Microsoft working for cloud and mobile application, cross-platform mobile applications. But I'm very, very interested in what is the IoT space and how really we are going to connect the different devices to the cloud, and of course, mobile applications are going to be a huge part of that. So I was taking a look at the keynote this morning, and I said, you know, I really fall in love every time that I give a presentation or I participate like Kids for America events, especially with kids, because it's amazing how they open your mind when they see drones flying. Also, what I do is I participate of a lot of drone races, and another thing is we have some meetups group, and we're like all geeks. We just take on a beach and start like flying the drones. So basically, that's like the background enough for myself, and it's interesting why I enter in the space of the UAVs, because my background is software engineer. Even when I was like always very attracted by all these devices, is, you know, Chris Anderson here? But Chris Anderson is a writer, and he's a writer. He used to be a publisher in Wired, the magazine. And basically, he started writing about the IoT. Like 3 years ago, he published a book that calls Maker's Revolution, that basically explains the different waves of the technology, from information to digital, and how we are entering, at that moment, it was like 3 years ago, to an era of makers. And he's, in fact, one of the owners of one of the big companies that is 3D robotics, very known by Solo or Iris. So my agenda for today, basically, this is the flight plan that we have for today. Yeah? So first of all, we are going to be talking about drones and UAVs in general. What you need to know. For me, it was a very interesting to start understanding this new jargon in the drones space, because you really have to understand all the terms and categorizations, etc. Then we're going to be talking about the big players. The reality is, today there is no standardization on drones space, so you really need to understand, if you are thinking about programming for drones or use a drone, or think about like how we are going to apply the drones, which one of these devices you are going to get, and which are the big players that are outside. And my main goal is to share with you the experience. I was lucky and have the possibility to try them all, and the goal is to share the experience and show what they can give to you. Then we are going to go to the programming opportunities. with drones and from the cloud, and also then we land with a Q&A. Well, I will try to cover all this content in 1 hour. I'm sure you will have a lot of questions. We can take the Q&A afterwards. And by fact, I'm thinking about going flying the drones this afternoon in the beach. So if anyone is interested in go and try these devices, believe me, I can. It's just a minute to understand the commands, and I offer you the possibility to do it. OK? Go ahead.
Is sand a problem for your drone?
I'm sorry?
Sand.
No, really. Well, what I do is I have a compressor. I didn't brought the compressor here, but like every time that I end flying the drone, I just have a compressor and I just take out all the sand. But we do fly the drones very. One important thing is I'm not going to be talking about FAA regulations here. Okay? So just to let you know. Just to let you know is just this line. Today, the commercial use of drones is not regulated in the United States. It's managed by exceptions. A long conversation. We can have some drinks at the bar, and I can tell you about that. That is not going to be covered today. And also, I'm not going to be covered special drones like, not drones, but UAVs that are the fixed wings. That basically are the ones with drones. So, taking off. First of all, as I said, oh my God, when I entered to this world, I said, in fact, I start with the drones, and every time that I went to the technician's place, people start talking about like the FPV first, and then like the components inside, the Pixar, the autopilot. So I really, as a software engineer, I really had to start to learn a lot of jargon. I'm not going to go through them there, but this is an advice. If you are thinking about coding or even using a drone, this is like the first thing. Try to go take a look at the manual, see like what are the new words for you, and try to get familiarity with these new terms that you are going to hear. The second thing is try to understand really what is the classification that you have in the UAVs space. UAVs, again, are managed aerial vehicles, right? So first of all, you have the small drones, yeah, that normally people use like for racing. Some companies are assembling. One of the companies, in fact, Parrot, that has other lines, they have this line of mini drones where they have like drones that fly, but also another copters that you can use for like jumping. They have these sumo ones that you can do any kind of acrobatics. And these are the small ones. They are all managed by just controller. You don't have really a lot of capabilities on that drones that just give directions. There are some mini drones, in fact, that are very interesting and are using for racing. They are very fast normally, right? But again, it's very difficult to mount a camera there and have a good definition of video, or just to put some sensors, because it's another kind of usage. Then we can go to the small line of devices that, in fact, I have one here of them, that these devices are very popular, yeah? I don't know if any one of you have seen this one before. Okay, this is the line, and we're going to talk about Parrot, but this is the line where it's very used for flying indoors or for gaming, and basically you have, I would say, an acceptable performance, but if you want to really go very high in altitude or just can reach a long distance, they are kind of limited. The same company has another line that is a little bit, or it's an improvement that basically lets you have a better view in terms of the better camera. You can add another sensors, etc. Then you can go for this first one that I like to call them like more prototyping gaming drones, to go to the other ones that are the commercial ones. That I'm sure the ones that just raise a hand, probably you have some of these drones. Because they are like the most popular now. We have the Phantom there. Everybody I'm sure that you heard about the Phantoms how, and also the Solo, the Iris, and other companies from more or less that kind of drone. So they are commercial drones. People is taking it for putting a GoPro and just manage it, taking some pictures, and then do that. And then if we jump a little bit to a more advanced category of UAVs, we think about the fixed wings. Fixed wings are not new. Fixed wing been in the industry for like 10 years now. I used to have a customer in Mexico that had these UAVs, and they send that for mapping missions. Like they go to mapping missions, they have a better autonomy than the rest of the UAVs normally. Another mechanism of, they use the lithium battery, normally they use gas, so they can go up and they last better. And they've been long time now in the industry, in the area of drones. So now components of the drones. Again, you are going to think about like how I'm going to interact with that devices. I really need to understand what's in the UAVs, and I like to call this the system. Like they said, the UAs, unmanaged aerial system, because this is something that you need to be aware of. So the first thing is, of course, our object of interest here is the drone. So the drones has, first of all, the airframe and the structure. Yeah, it depends on the kind of copter that you have. It will have more motors than the other. Normal of quadcopters, simple quadcopters are made of plastic or fiberglass. Propeller motors, sometimes you have 2 motors in each of the arms, depends on the usage again, and also depends on the condition in which you are going to use these drones. Because one of the, and I'm starting to give you some tips here, one of the big, I will say, challenges, agents for the drones is the weather. The weather basically will affect the autonomy of the drone, and also you cannot fly if it is raining outside. There are some investments now in trying to do it waterproof, but it's still under research. So the second one is the flight control system. And this is like, if you are interested in just take a look at how this works, is normally you just go and open one of these drones. These are very cheap drones. You can find like in Amazon, you can find one of these like around 350. And you just open this, and this has all the boards and all the systems that are open source. So a lot of people is taking these boards and extended these boards. And in fact, this is Arduino. So it's very interesting what you can do with this. So you just can go and extend it. And again, these drones that are more for gaming and prototyping are the first step for that. So this is for, I would say, the starting, and then you can jump to the other line that are the commercials, that they are in fact using autopilots. And autopilots are the flight system of a drone. And it's very interesting, again, is there is a push. This is not currently homologated yet, but you can find open source autopilot that, again, you can extend and you can program. And here, you know, is all a Linux computer. So just for you to start thinking around ideas. Then we have, of course, the GPS, because this is very important. Every time that you need to fly a drone, one of the things is we call the dance, because you have to take the drone to do the turn, see the lights are on, turn it again, do the turn, see the lights are on. GPS is an amazing, important component in the drone, because it will let you fly safely. But also, you can take advantage of indoor flying now, and in fact, there is a very huge investments on cameras for indoor flying, where again, if I show the same drone, if you take a look at it, has horizontal cameras, so it can take the vision of basically the floor and have some kind of directions. I'm not going to fly the drones yet because, to be honest with you, I'm not 100% comfortable with flying drones with people yet, but that is something that is coming and you can start doing. But something to consider with that cameras is, of course, the kind of floor that you are going to have. Never fly over a wide floor, okay? So that's kind of components of the door. Another thing is sensors. Sensors are very important. You have, by default, in all of these drones, you have an accelerometer, you have magnometers, you have a gyroscope, you have the ultrasound pulsars that will help also with objects collections. A lot of people is doing research around like how to interact with drones, avoiding collisions of the different objects outside or even with drones. So that's another important component. The batteries. You have different batteries, different capacities, depends on what you are going to use. It's very important today, none of these drones can fly more than 23 minutes. None of them. In the best situation in which you don't have wind and you don't have to fight again any condition, I would say, in general. You don't put more weight to what they can carry. And the cameras will vary, depends on the drones that you have. So that's like the big components that you have to consider. Unlimited applications today, of course, the drones have been very important in the military space, as you know. Civil, of course, defense. Currently, we're in another countries, we're seeing the government using the drones for control patrol or just doing some kind of monitoring, yeah, of the population itself. Next to natural disaster, imagine the possibility of stop sending people to rescue or to just take the risk to be close to fire or any other condition. It can save lives itself. There is a very interesting application of drones, like if you have an emergency, a heartbeat attack, while you have the ambulance coming because you know the traffic and everything can affect, they send a drone with kind of an instructor and a first aid kit to the person that is taking care of the patient and calling an ambulance. So I really believe, and I think there are a lot of people in this, that it will save life, absolutely. In the science, of course, all what it is, weather, storm tracking, it will help a lot to get more environment because of the sensors that you can add. Again, this is a Linux computer, so you can extend it as you need on that. And the commercial application, basically today, take the old model of the fixed wings, where you have this mapping precision agriculture, and bring this new set of UAVs of drones where you have them that they are more accurate, they can carry different cameras, you can extend them, and basically it will really improve the efficiency of all these areas. And something very important, if you think about, I always say, if you think about the UAVs revolution, this is not something new, but it's something that will improve the way in which fixed wings operated. Because now you have the possibility to just take that data, take decisions on the flight. These guys are more smart now. They have computers that you can program, and basically you can add different rules, they can react, and what you are going to do with all that data that you can get for these devices, and again, you can interact with. So that's the uses that you have now. So as I said, sooner or later, you will have to understand what are the big players now, because they are not too much. In fact, anyone that you talk about drones today has any of these three, I tell you. So first of all, I will go for the simpler one, the Parrot one. The Parrot one was the drone that I showed you. Very interesting. I will bring this because I will explain in detail. But very interesting drone if you want to start doing some gaming, some application. A lot of people is using this for basically interact with. See, are you familiar with the Mio band, wristband? Yeah, they are like taking the run, say, hey, go up, go down. They are doing that kind of things. Also, a lot of people is using this one with Oculus Rift. I hope we are going to also improve in that space. So that's the first. The second one is DJI. That is the drone that I have there is from DJI. Yeah, I have an Inspire one. And also they have the Phantom, the other line. And then it's 3D robotics. Very interesting, very well-positioned company in each space. Every one of them has a different focus, and I will explain you that. So let's first start with Parrot. Parrot is a company that starts in 1994. They have different focus. It's not just only the drones. They are basically in the automotive space. They have a lot of smart applications and smart, I will say, add-ons for the automotive. And they also have these sprinklers systems where they have these connected objects like automated sprinkler system. And then they have the drones, this area, yeah? But it's all around, again, the Internet of Things. And I think, again, as I said, this is just part of it. So basically, and they are in Paris. And they are all the ones are worldwide now. So comparative, and I will share with you this later, so you can take like the brief of each one. But basically, I will start with the first one, that is this guy. So the Parrot, what is great is that basically, as I said, is for gaming. So the first thing that they have is they have this hull that is for inside. So if they hit any object, you can basically avoid it. But also interesting because people is putting here some color tapes. So with the camera, they can identify each other. And I was like hearing the talk before, and I say, how can you start applying algorithms in which you can play with drones and you can basically develop games from this? And in fact, people is doing it because it's just like just one player with the other one trying to avoid, or even you can interact with the drones and different targets. So that's one of the main uses today, as I said, connected with augmented reality application as well as virtual reality or wristbands of wearables. This other one that is a hull is for outside. Yeah, and again, it has, as you said, these colors that you see here. They are not because they are only fancy. They are fancy, but it's because of the gaming stuff that they are thinking about it. So again, this is interest and the opportunity there. And you have here, you have the mini computers, and you can add. These are the cameras that I was mentioning before. So and the ultrasound, so they can fly inside without any problem. We do in some camps and like in very big places with kids because this is safe. So they can just go around, flip around, etc. So this drone, honestly, is very good drones for a start. It just costs $650, like the full kit, if you want. That's the maximum that you are going to pay for one of these. And what is interesting, yes, they are carbon fiber. You can just buy tapes and you fix it. I'm a paddleboarder, and believe me, this was my first drone, in fact, and I drone it 2 times in the water, and then we fix it, and it works. So this is a very good opportunity there. The battery just lets you give 11 minutes of autonomy. That's one of the restrictions I will set. And the other thing is it runs a Linux computer of 2.6. And then you have a RAM memory. And another important thing that people is doing this all the time, who is here, you have this. That is the flight controller. So what you can do is you just can plug this to the drone, and you can have all your flight information and telemetry. Because guess who? This is a Linux computer. So one of the things that you're going to do is you're going to start tracking, like what is the height, the altitude, what is whatever variable that you want to catch from the drone. And if you use a sensor from the environment, you can have it here. But what is more important is that they have one application. And guess who is open source? So it's a free flight. So that is available for Android and iOS and Windows. And what you can do basically with it is just command the command the drone. In fact, when I use this for the kids, they just take selfie with the application because they have like the surface and they just shoot a selfie. But then what you can do is you can open that application and customize it. And what is very interesting is that also there is an SDK, of course, but always there is an SDK. The SDK lets you code in Node.js, .NET, whatever language you want. Yeah? So the first thing is really, really an amazing opportunity for gaming with this drone. So we jump to the next one, that is the Bebop. I had the opportunity to play with the Bebop. And I will tell you, I was not like really impressed with the Bebop because it costs around 100, well, 900 with the Sky controller. They make an improvement. These drones, they don't have a controller. The controller is your tablet or your mobile somehow, okay? Even when I have when I do the test with the computer, I just execute the Node.js program and it just jumps it. So don't have a controller. So what Parrot did is they bring this Sky controller that, first of all, would let you fly the drone at least 2 kilometers of distance where you are. So that's opened a little bit the possibilities. They improved the camera. Now they have a 1,120 camera that is integrated. They are using this technology that is fisheye. Interesting, not like super advanced, but competitive in the market. And in fact, it was the competition of the Phantom, that is another drone itself. What is important about the drone that I really like it, yes, that part, is the materials. They are still keeping the same materials as the Parrot. So if you used to have a Parrot or you're interested in go and open source somehow that, you have the possibility to do it with the Bebop too. So again, very lightweight drone, small, have the coverage, can fly inside. So that's the second one. As I said, it's again 11 minutes of autonomy, no more than that, because it's a lightweight. Any questions for Parrot here? No? Perfect. So let me jump to the next one, that is the DJI. DJI drones, they are very smart because they are in China, I think, and something that I am amazed about these guys is that they have a life cycle of the drones itself that is, oh my gosh, super fast. I at least, for this one, the Empire, I get one update of the firmware per week. And they update the different components of this UIS, as I call you. Because the UIS, basically, you have the application, you have to update the controller, and you have to update the drone. Thanks God the satellites where don't have a scope there, but you have to take care of that component. So they basically had their Phantom one. That is, anyone of the set here has a Phantom? Oh, okay, I will, no problem. So we have the Phantom, basically, is a little bit heavy drone. It's the competition, a little bit more of the Bebop, I will say. And basically, it has different flavors. And as I say, in this cycle, what they have is, let me jump to the next slide here. So I have what they have is they have the oldest series of Phantom. They started with Phantom 1 year ago. Now they have the Phantom 3 already. You can see the speed of how this company is going. But one of the things that really have to take advantage of is that they are very close, close in terms of what you can do inside of these commercial lines of drones that they have. Because you cannot really program today the boards that is inside or any of the components. They are super stable, super stable. They are very reliable, that's the truth. You can add components that they offer as the package that they have. Basically, if you can see here, I have a Phantom 2. I put a gimbal. I have a GoPro. I have basically a transmitter, and then I have in the controller, I have a receiver too. And I have the IOSD, where I can capture all the video data that comes out of the GoPro. So all these are the components that link into the one of my first slides you have to understand. In the new lines now, they are not using anymore the possibility for you to put a camera. They give you already an onboard camera that is a very good camera, and that is where they are kind of varying. So they are starting with a very simple camera, a 720 pix camera, very simple, and now they are evolving till 4K in what it is the Phantom series. But yes, what is interesting is that this guy has an SDK. I will show you how to get access to that SDK. It's super simple, and you can basically program any of the components that are already inside of the drone. More or less, the bar depends on the model that you are thinking. They go from, I think, $800 till 1.2K. So you can get one of it for that thing. Another important thing to consider is today you can fly these drones more or less 2 kilometers from the point in which you are. It's amazing. People is doing very, very cool things. One of the lines that they call the Phantom 3 Advanced had the possibility for you to take 4K video and pictures. So imagine that. They're really, I mean, you have a quality that is amazing, and people is starting to use this for mapping or agro or any electricity application that you have now. You cannot add components to this line because any component that you add basically, of course, put in risk the stability of the drones. So they are, I would say, investing in other area of that. So that's from the Phantom 2. We can pass next to the other line, that is the Inspire. The Inspire, I would say, is particularly in my experience one of the best drones that I have, because they have comparing with the Phantom that has around 23 minutes of autonomy. This, I would say, has around 20 minutes of autonomy. It's super stable. Everything is automatized. It's like they have an application that is linked to the controller. And what you can do basically is you just can take off the drone automatically through controllers. With these other ones, you normally have to hold the controller and know like what is the speed in which you have to let the drone go up, etc. So now, of course, they are doing this all through automation and programming. So this has another line of batteries too that, of course, supports the TB line. That is how we call it. It's still lithium. And basically, it gives you, I will say, more power comparing to the other one. Someone asked me, if you fly this in the beach, what's the problem with the sand and everything? I would say that one of the big problems in the beach, and now that we live in Florida, is that sometimes you just go or plan to go to the beach and then it's starting to be too windy, or like you don't have the best conditions in terms of weather itself. I see a huge difference between them both behaving. So if you are thinking, okay, I'm going to think about the commercial use of these things, definitely you want a reliable drone. So in a quadcopter line, these are the best that you can find. They are also very, very good for mapping, also for shooting. I think here in Orlando, in South Florida, a lot of people is using it for film shooting, for photo shooting. And again, currently, non-commercial rentable applications. They have both an SDK. And basically, with them, like give you an advanced, DJI has 2 models or level of SDK. One is the SDK for the mobile application, so you can develop any app that connects to the device. The other part is they have an onboard SDK. And you will ask me why they have an onboard SDK if they don't let you program these drones. It's because they are investing, as all the vendors on this, on the area in which they are going to open source and give a little bit more of level of abstractions of what it is, the Phantom itself. So let's jump to the third player that I have, 3D robotics. So this is the author, the writer that I was talking to you before, and I really, really encourage you to go and at least see the summary of this book that is called The Maker Revolution, because I think it shows you the wave of where IoT is leading, and he talks a lot about like the connected devices and big data. And completely different situation than DJI. 3D robotics came from the ground, from the open source. So they are also suffering on the speed of the development as well, what happens sometimes in this industry. They are not in China, so the possibility of getting the different parts and assembly, etc., is like a little bit slower, but they are betting a little bit medium long term, because what they do is they are in alliance with Linux Foundation. And one of the projects that they are having is what is called the drone code. Drone code is, if you go and take a look at dronecode.org, you will have all the frameworks that would let you interact with the autopilots. And this is not only applicable for aerial drones. This is applicable for different, I would say, robots space. In fact, drone code started from the robots environment. So this is part of the Linux Foundation. As you know, a lot of players in the industry are part of Linux Foundation now. You have Quantum, you have Microsoft, you have Parrot is another one that is also being part of Linux Foundation. So that's like the shot of Chris Anderson. They started with an old model that is called the Iris. The Iris was an amazing, nice drone, very aesthetic, very, we said, very light. Competition directly with the Phantom line at that moment, and was very, very good drone, but it lacks of stability. That's one of the things that sometimes came in from like open too much the game. I think that they lack a little bit with stability. I had one, and mine now is being repaired, because the problem is that one of the things that you have to consider, and again, programming with this, is that you have to consider the data link between the controller. Even when you are going to have a mobile application, you will have a controller. The controller will establish a data link with the drone. If the data link is not reliable, your drone can just get nuts and fly wherever it goes. And you have to program, like reliability, you know how is that? You have to program the drone to basically just take the GPS and try to do a safe mode, etc. But again, every time that you want to control it, the data link is super important. And they lack of that. But then they start now what it is, the Solo. The Solo is a drone that is also came from the open source. It's going to be the evolution of the Iris itself. And what they are thinking is about a drone to be extensible. So you can buy it. It's going to be very good for you to go and do video shooting. It has great camera, we said, considerable in terms of the specifications. But it still have the Pixel, that is the autopilot, exactly the same as it used to have the Iris before. It gives you the possibility to put a GoPro in there too. So it's they are still embedding that. They are not in the camera market. And what is interesting is that they keep on having the same ecosystem of applications. And then they are also in the mapping side. Again, I'm not going to touch a lot of that, but they have another drone that is kind of a hybrid between the fixed wings and the UIVs itself, and the drone itself. But what is very interesting is that coming from the open source side, they have basically a platform that lets you not only access to an SDK, but gives you the possibility to develop services for the drones itself. So let's talk a little bit about the part of the programming stuff. So if you think about the components that I was explaining to you before, and you think about what you need to program in drones, I would like, what are the ideas that you have around that? Any volunteer? Think about, we have, in the majority of them, we have Linux computers. They are almost that. You have SDKs that basically lets you access the different components of the drone. You have the possibility to have a mobile application where you can gather all the telemetry data, and also you can get the videos, the photos, etc., and any sensor that you want to put it on there. So you really have a huge possibility to go and program these devices. And of course, you can take advantage of the specifics of each platform. So if we go, first of all, to Parrot. So Parrot has this side. They all have the Parrot for developer, DJI of developers, 3D robotic for developers. But Parrot's been a long time on this open source. So currently, if you go exactly at developer.parrot.com, you will find the possibility to download all the different projects. In fact, they have it all in GitHub now. And what you can do basically is you have .NET applications, and you have different flavorizations of gaming itself. This is very used in Hackfest these days, and basically super simple. Let me still there, yeah. So basically what you have, for you to have an idea, is this is just objects. As you see, you just define, you see it from there, yeah. You just define the drone object. You just get a client, and then you just manage the events of the drones itself. You can make them flip, and you can also log and get all the telemetry data. Another thing that, for example, you can just say the video stream. And in fact, one of the tests that we are doing is trying to get that stream of data and then upload that to Azure Media Services, and then be able to stream this broadly. Okay, so that's one of the the things that you currently can do. And as I said, they have support for Node.js, .NET, Java, Python, whatever language you want, you currently can interact with the drones itself. So that's what you have in the hardware, and this applies to either the Bebop or either the Parrot Drone 2 or any of these small mini copters that they can have, and how you can connect and assemble them. So that's what you have in the, let me go back. That's what you have in Parrot. What you have in 3DR, it has this drone kit that basically has 3 flavors. They have the air, that is onboard way of programming. As I said, they just allow you program for the solo. You can basically, they have they are thinking about this solo continuum that is here, in which they are thinking about different applications where you can add components directly to the solo. Of course, you have to, again, for terms of how that is going to behave, you will have the challenge to see which components are you going to add, right? But again, you have the LED lights. There are these ballistic parachutes what they are using is, let's say that I have an event and I want to program a drone to go and do a rounds, because today it's one of the things that you can establish a road for a drone. If anything happens, you can put a safe mode as a parachute and it will save or be a contention situation. And optical flow sensor. One of the big uses for drones is also taking thermal application or LiDAR. Anyone familiar with that here? No? Well, that's the kind of picture, let's say you have a crop and you want to go and try to get, or a construction, more simple. In fact, someone told me that they are doing here in Jacksonville this. So you will see some drones taking pictures. So you can take the picture of the construction today and you can have the evolution of that during the time based on just the picture and metrics and that kind of ortho measurement. So that is what is the debate in this channel. So that is one thing. The other one is the ground mobile. Basically, they are like super open, and they like to call the Android for the drones. That's how they call it themselves. And basically, they are providing access to this SDK, where you can, again, program any of the components itself. And then they have a cloud that I really do not get there exactly what they are doing in that part of the cloud, but basically, they are using Swagger. And they let you access RED services based on your drone's needs. So that's kind of the things. And this is the way in which it works. And basically today, what you just can do, let me take to that page. No, DJI, hold on, give me 1 minute. So, yeah, here it is. So this is what they do, is they have this, oh, I don't know why it's not showing it. Give me 1 minute. It's just lost connectivity. The technician is not there. Hold on. Because today we have to reconnect something. Here we go. I hope it's, yeah. No. Oh, jeez. I will connect and disconnect again. Try one more time. No, it's not appearing. So let me turn off and on. Today we did this. Can you call the technician, please? No? Okay, so I will try to talk, so we just have some minutes. So basically, what it has, 3D Robotics has this open, I would say, open mobile application, open platform, where you can go and you can program. Basically, everything is used today, Python. And you can consume the different services, either from the solo drone or either from any of the components that you can add to that. And again, what is important is you can get this data in a mobile application and then explode this with their REST services, or you just have your own REST services. On the other side, we have also DJI. DJI has the SDK. And that's a SDK that I would say I've been playing a lot these days. And basically, they have a full, complete management of the drone. Is super, super reliable in terms of how the APIs works. It's a great experience. They have currently support for iOS, not in the Android, neither Windows space. They are basically providing the accessibility to the different components, the camera, so you can manage the basically how to manage the gimbal of the camera. You can manage the different telemetry data. I'm doing some tests around a functionality that is follow me. I told you I droned the drones while I was paddleboarding. So now I'm trying to go paddleboarding and make the drone follow me. That is a default functionality that today all the applications in the drones have it, so you can do it. But basically, it's very difficult to be controlling and setting while you do that. So I'm working with the follow me, still struggling with all what it is. The battery autonomy is very short time today, but even with that, I think you can do great tests on that. Another thing to talk about the SDK is that I tell you, they are very close now with programming for the drones itself. I mean, you cannot open that. But they have this new drone that is called the Mattress. Oh my gosh, that name's kind of scary, right? The Mattress. So the Mattress is an open source matrix. But they have been, in a way, smart too, because they are giving you this platform for developing for drones where you can connect an Intel board. I'm very fan of the Edison. I love the Edison, in fact. And I followed all the Galileo, Edison, and now what is the Quora, the other one that is small like a button. But I fall in love with the Edison, and you can basically today integrate Edison boards in this mattress. And also another thing that you can, of course, use Raspberry Pi also for developing there. So a huge opportunity with this mattress. The mattress costs in this moment almost 1K, but they are thinking like about doing developers or other kind of flavors so you can access to that. See, in terms, if they go there, I would say they will probably enter more in this open source space where you can go and you can put your hands on. I talk a lot about the drones. So you have the possibility to just go and program, like as you heard, in any language that you like for the drones. You have accessibility today for almost every company that is providing the SDK or somehow to integrate with the devices. They are just Linux computers in all of them. You can just go and hack a little bit and do what you need. But then let's go to the other part, because I think that is where the opportunity is. And as a developer, you know, I tell you today, you are all drone programmers already. Because the opportunity really is how you're going to take all the data that you have from the drones. Imagine the possibility to just get a picture and just understand, like, this is a little bit invasive, but you can know who is the person that is in that picture, and also cross some data where you can have the age, the interests of that person. You can think about like how to program roads in which you just can send one of these devices and basically execute the mission or send this to an electricity area that is like too risky, and you can collect the information and you have information back saying, okay, this is I don't know, this is a part that needs to be replaced, and you can also manage stocks online using these devices instead of having someone live putting in risk in these scenarios. And drones are not only in the area; they are also submarine. There are different kind of copters, but they all, for us, I mean, if I were a hardware person, honestly, it's like you start taking care of like the different qualifications. But when you start thinking as a software engineer, you really think that you write code no matter like what is going to be supported. You just for us, it's all objects around and like how we are going to interact with that. So I think that is something that to take in mind of this. And the other part is like what you are going to do with all this data. I've been doing some tests. In fact, I wanted to show you about what it is today, machine learning. Familiar with machine learning here? I told you are already programmers in the Red Hat area. Because the reality is that today you can take data, you can cross data with other models, and basically it can give you the possibility to take that decisions. Think about BI applications where you can just gather data from these pictures, you can take the video. Think about the cropping thing. You can just take the video you stream and basically take a snapshots on how the agro or your investment just apply a pesticide, how that evolved through the time. And you know, aerial photography is a huge part of that. The other thing that you can do is you can gather all kind of telemetry data there. Talking about face recognition, you can basically take on what this machine learning, and in particular if you go to Microsoft Azure, you have these face APIs that basically you can take a picture and you can recognize a person just taking an analysis of that photo. Or you can basically do some color algorithms. And I was hearing the talk before, talking about the models, all the data science opportunity on this. It's how you are going to basically take this data, explode, and connect. And again, I think that is where the opportunity for us is. Like take all this telemetry data and start taking decisions. But you have to start to understand how we are going to get them, right? So why don't you just go and try to get one parrot or something and start prototyping and coding? It's super easy. Yeah, and basically, if you want to, again, as I said, test or touch them or wherever, I am like super open, go it, and we can go flying it. I love it. I always said, if I'm not in the computer programming, I'm normally flying or in a paddleboard, So thank you. I'm sorry about the presentation at the end, but I hope you have the insight of like what you can do and why not start thinking that the future is already here. So go for it, okay? Thank you. Any questions? Yep.
You first. Well, so I saw you can program a little bit.
Yep.
What kind of communication between the drone?
Between the drone and the Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
Currently Wi-Fi, so simple like that. Yeah. So Wi-Fi, and you have like the 2 kilometers,
Right.
you have it.
Okay, so you open space and use some sort of extra device? Or
No, in fact, all these ones, well, if you have these ones, you can have a repeater for just taking more. Normally, these ones take at least 300 meters, but otherwise you can put a repeaters and get the signal, yes. That's one of the things, definitely. Yep. Another, yep.
So I noticed the node example you had earlier.
Yep.
You're running that directly on the drone itself?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, just you have that. In fact, you run against the drone. Very simple. What I do is, and again, I just take my Node.js code. I will connect through Wi-Fi from my computer to the drone, and then I executed the command. Yeah, so you send the drone to something. Something very important related to your question, you have the distance that please don't fly more than 400 feet because the FAA will come over you. Oh my gosh, no, but that's true. We just have 400 feet is the maximum of altitude and you can configure somehow that. This guys goes more up, but just 400, yeah, that's what you have to consider, yeah. And if you like, and I'm sure you like this, more science or research code, there is a guy that is doing drones development for the Cirque du Soleil. And it's very interesting, yeah. And what they are doing is they are studying proximity algorithms. So if you go take a look at like in YouTube, like Cirque du Soleil drones, you will have this dance of lamps that he has. But what he's doing is with his hands, he's trying to approach each of the drones. But the drones with the sensors are detecting how to approach of node. Super interesting, and I think that is kind of the future because if we are going to be around and we will have drones, you don't have one collisions. So it's amazing, like the potentiality of the area. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah, go for it.
What time are you going to fly them?
Sorry?
What time are you
Oh, what time we end? Like 5, right? 5, 6? Yeah. 5, 6 in the lobby. We can meet there and we go flying. Yeah. I have all the batteries charged. So except these ones that honestly for the beach, we can fly these two for 1 hour in total. Yeah. Perfect. Other one? I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for coming.